Ever wanted to survive alone in the depths of space? Or if Subnautica in zero gravity sounds like your jam, then Astrometica might be the game for you. In this video, I'm diving into my first impressions of a game that blends space exploration, base building, and resource gathering in a galaxy packed with mystery. It's still early days, but there's something special here that's really hard to ignore. So if you're into survival crafting or just looking for a fresh take on space games, then stick around, as I'll help you decide if Astrometica is worth your time, so let's jump in. With so many open world survival games coming out, it's hard to find ones that are hard to land. I really enjoyed the Planetcraft and I was looking for something new, so when I saw Astrometica, it really caught my eye for a number of reasons. As mentioned, it gives me heavy Subnautica or the Planetcrafter vibes, but in a good way. There are a lot of things that I love about this game. It leans heavily into sandbox gameplay, so you have the freedom to do what you want in any direction you want, because yeah, you're in space. And while it might not be procedurally generated, like say in No Man's Sky, it's got these handcrafted locations that really give you a gravitational pull towards them. But then it's also got quite a robust base building aspect too here, which damn, once I put the bed down, I was like, oh yeah, here we go again. Astrometica isn't multiplayer though, which kinda sucks, but the devs did mention that they want to focus on nailing the core gameplay first before making any other changes. But you can't progress far without gathering resources, automation, and finally, it's got that curiosity factor in the exploration. It's got that what's behind that asteroid FOMO that keeps you wanting to come back for more. And yeah, I know, people might be thinking, wait, isn't this just basically sub? So yeah, I chatted to the devs on Discord and they mentioned that yeah, Subnautica was a big inspiration, but they wanted to make a game that had a much bigger, handcrafted space to explore and a heavier focus on gameplay mechanics and base building. And honestly, once I got the hang of its gameplay, I got sucked into this world where I was enjoying it the more I played, even from the very start. Speaking of which, when you start Astrometica, you wake up in this emergency pod after a mining station gets absolutely wrecked. Now it's just you, the unknown galaxy, and a lot of questions. Right off the bat, Astrometica throws you into the deep end of space here, quite literally. I mean, when those doors open and you just fling yourself out and there's just this empty vastness of space, it's quite breathtaking, and when that music kicks in, it's incredible. Exploration though is Astrometica's bread and butter. You venture out a little, gather some resources, but then you see some interesting objects in the distance. Like, what was that? Is that another space station? Can I get there with my current oxygen supply? Hard nope, but that's okay, as this is where the crafting and base building elements start, and they make it really hard to stop. Your vitals like oxygen, hunger, and thirst run out relatively quickly, but there's also a health bar too, because well, besides flying into asteroids or flying into your base at full speed, there are enemies in this game too. You're not alone. So once you upgrade some items, more start to unlock. I'll admit, I struggled to know what to unlock first, but having a faster jetpack and extended oxygen supply really help here, as yeah, dying kinda sucks, but luckily you can get your stuff back fairly easily. Astrometica also loves the little tools here. Tools for everything. You've got one for mining, which lets you extract minerals from asteroids, one for scanning, which helps you find useful items, as well as the ability to build these items back at base. There's one for building, useful for upgrading your little station, plus you get one for smashing, just smashing everything, a very efficient way for opening boxes. Some more tools open up later down the line, plus you get to upgrade all of these with your little upgrade station you've got here. Something here that's pretty interesting, I guess it's a bit realistic, is that these tools as well as the vehicles that you get to unlock later have battery packs in them that you need to swap out, and you need to charge them in this little battery charging station. It's pretty cool. I mean, that's why you've got these battery percentages on your tools at all times, which at the start have the battery capacity of a year-old iPhone. There is this mini tutorial at the start of the game where the game kind of guides you into what to build first, but after that, you're out on your own. For instance, the base building. Now, I'm all about that base no treble, and Astrometica does a really good job in helping you construct a new one that you can actually improve upon. It gave me that same homely vibe as the one in the Planet Crafter, even with it being so early in development. You can place down lights, plants, windows, and other decorative items to make it feel more personal. But naturally, the machines that you build here will be your most important objects that you have in the base. These machines range from simple item fabrication to upgrade stations, ore processing machines, blueprint identifiers, standard procedure. But then I unlocked this cool one that shoots a laser that can mine ore from nearby asteroids. That was very cool. The UI here isn't bad, but it gets pretty hard to keep up knowing what to build next. A little nitpick that I had with it is that even if you have all the required resources for a certain item that you want to build, you'll need to build these smaller components first and then the one that you wanted to build. But hopefully later it'll just be all done at once, a bit like the Dyson Sphere program, but it wasn't really a big deal here. And luckily you can pin crafting recipes from the get-go, and multiple ones at that, saving you time from constantly opening up that build panel. Survival crafting and pinned recipes, name a better combo. I'll wait. And because you're building up a little space station here, the required components fit in perfectly with the theme. Like if you're running too many machines and your power goes down, just throw down some solar panels, which really look awesome here. Everything just snaps into places that they're allowed to be placed, which again makes it feel really user-friendly here, not some hardcore space sim. If you're a base builder boss like me, then this part alone is worth playing the game. It's all just so oddly satisfying, giving you that, see this, I made this, feeling that you get from other similar games. But I'll have to admit, the current plot of Astrometica is extremely bare bones. While playing, you'll discover more about your story and what happened here using these cell phone-like devices scattered all around the various stations. But yeah, the SMS-driven narratives don't always resonate with me, so to be honest, I just kind of skip these while keeping tabs of my oxygen supply. Perhaps the environmental storytelling though is more of a highlight here. Every wrecked station, abandoned pod, and eerie anomaly has a story to tell. Even without dialogue or cutscenes, the game manages to make you feel like a tiny part of a much bigger narrative. Luckily, the devs plan on rolling out some interesting updates as shown in this roadmap, which all look crazy cool, and I cannot wait to see more. But for the most part, the game does a good job in keeping your interest, even if it's just finding out more about the environment around you. Even though space is vast, Astrometica manages to squeeze in lots of nearby places to explore. It's actually easy to get lost sometimes, especially when you're behind a large asteroid and trying to find the nearest oxygen dome. These domes and other similar stations really help, as now you can refill your oxygen supply so you can keep going further, plus a lot of the time they have newer materials for you to use back at your base. You'll also notice here that there is organic life, hinting that you're not alone after all. But yeah, there are tons of areas to explore, from asteroid belts to mysterious cosmic anomalies and other abandoned space stations. There's this constant sense of wonder, like you're on the brink of finding something extraordinary or stumbling into something deadly. And that leads me onto the overall vibe of Astrometica. It reminded me a bit of Star Trekker, where it blends this eerie feel that makes you feel so insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But then at the same time, there's this sense of solace that you're making progress and doing something meaningful. And then that sound design, oh man, this really helps contribute to that feeling, and it's one of the better space-themed soundtracks out there. If you're like me and get easily distracted in open world games, then you're really going to enjoy the various songs that play throughout. Even though you might be on the brink of death most of the times, those chilled synth beats really ground you here. And yeah, the graphics also add to the experience. While they are not really mind-blowing, around 99% of the assets were handcrafted, so you know the devs really care about their game here. In terms of the performance and any kind of bugs, I was pleasantly surprised. It did have some mini pop-ups here and there, and in terms of bugs, every now and again I'd get a mini random asteroid in my base. But nothing here was a deal breaker, and I'm pretty sure these will all be fixed soon. My bigger hope is that the game keeps up with the surprises. The base building and exploration are killer so far, but it needs to keep that momentum going. For me, Astrometica is shaping up to be a wild ride. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, exploring, and digging into its mysteries. With its killer premise, epic atmosphere, and addictive gameplay, it's got the makings of a real hit here. So if you're into space exploration, base building, or just love space games in general, keep your eyes on this one. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or even subscribe to see more gaming content like this. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.